Welcome back to another video. I'm Tim, and this is part one of a short series on how you can multiply numbers really quickly. So if you're interested, stick around, share it with a friend, and you can hopefully multiply 2-digit or 3-digit numbers in your head, and it'll be very impressive. So we're going to use this idea of a reference number. So we'll start off with a very simple multiplication. Let's see if we can do 7 times 8. Now, I'm sure that most of you, having gone through the school system and you've learnt your times tables, automatically we should all know that the answer for this would be 56. However, I'm going to share with you a different technique that you can use, which you can then apply to more difficult examples. So the numbers 7 and 8 are very close to 10. So we're going to use 10 as a reference number. So what we do is we write the reference number to the left, circle it. Underneath each digit, we're actually going to write the difference from 10 to that number. So underneath 7, I'm putting a -3, circle it. On the bottom of 8, a -2, and circle it. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to subtract that number diagonally like this. So whether I do 7 take away 2 or 8 take away 3, I will get 5. We then multiply this with our reference number 10. So 5 times 10 is 50. And then we just simply add those two circled numbers multiplied together. 2 3s are 6. So together we get 56. Now you might think, gee, that took a while. But remember, we're just practicing a technique here of using the reference number to multiply. At the moment, a simple case, but we can extend this to a more complex one. Let's try that again with a different one. Let's do 6 times 7. So again, reference number, circle it. Underneath, we're putting -4 in a circle and -3, so the difference from 10. So whether I do 7 take away 4 or 6 take away 3, I end up with 3. Multiplied by the reference number 10, 3 times 10 is 30, and I'm adding 3 4s are 12, so together I get 42. So now let's see if we can do a little bit more of a complicated one. So let's see if we can try 96 times 97. So that might stump most of us. And I think a lot of us would be wanting to reach, if we didn't have a calculator, we'd want to reach for an algorithm and just go through the motions that we have learnt. But again, let's try using now 100 as our reference number. Again, the same thing will apply. The difference between 96 and 100 is 4. So -4, 97 is -3. Again, subtracting diagonally, whichever way we go, we're going to get 93. 93 multiplied by the reference number is 9,300. And then we add 3 4s at 12. And we get 9,312. Remember guys, the aim for this is for you to be able to do it mentally. So be very careful about the dialogue that you are having inside your head. So sometimes I guess when we see quiz shows or those, demonstrations where a mathematician will do a very, very large calculation all mentally quicker than someone can do it on a calculator. The dialogue that's going on inside their brain is very important. So with this particular question, the dialogue I'm running is I'm taking away the differences. So I'm doing 96 take away 3, so that's 93. So I'm going 9,300. And while I'm saying that, I'm tricklily doing the multiplication of 3 and 4 is 12. So I'll be going 9,300 and 3 4s are 12 and 12. And that will be my answer. So what I encourage you to do is to actually write out a lot of these, but really run that dialogue the same way. So you're building up repetition and you're practicing speaking it mentally. Let's try a different one. Let's try 98 times 98. Again, 100 is our reference number. Difference of 2 from 100. Subtracting diagonally, I'll get 96 times 100 is 9,600. 2 2s are 4, so I would have 9,604. All right, let's do one more. Let's try 97 times 97. So again, 100 is our reference. Subtracting 3 from both leaves me with 94 times 100 is 9,400, and 3 3s are 9. And the more you do this, the more efficient and quicker that you will get, until you should be able to do these mentally, which I think is pretty cool. So I guess the next question is, well, these numbers were nice because they were close to 10 and close to 100. So let's consider, what if our numbers were slightly above our reference number? Notice that all of these are below the reference. So let's go back to looking at 10 as a reference, but this time let's consider if the numbers that we're interested in multiplying are above. So these ones will be above the reference number. So let's start off with something like 13 times 14. So again, we're still using 10 as our reference, but this time instead of a minus, I'm going to say, well, how far away from 10 is 13? Well, that's plus 3. Again, with a circle, and 14 is a plus 4. We're going to use the same procedure looking diagonally, but instead of subtracting this time, I'm just going to add. So whether I do 13 plus 4 or 14 plus 3, I'll end up with 17 multiplied by the reference numbers, 170 plus 3 4s are 12, 182. So the exact same procedure really, except it's kind of in reverse. Let's try another one. Let's do 12 times 16. Okay, so again, 10 is our reference. This time it's a plus 2. And this time here it's plus 6. Now there's obviously going to be ways you can make this process a little bit quicker. Probably don't have to write the pluses or minus if you intuitively know, obviously it's greater than 10. So again, regardless of which way I add, I'm going to get 18 times 10 is 180. Plus 2 6s are 12. That would be 192. Let's do one where one of the digits is in the 20s. So let's try 12 times 21. And using 10 as our reference, so we'll have a plus 2 and then a plus 11 underneath 21. Let's see if it still works out the same. So again, adding diagonally, I'm going to end up with 23. Times 10, 230. Adding 2 times 11 is 22. So hopefully I end up with 252. So we can extend this to then looking at our higher numbers using 100 as a reference. So if we had to do 106 times 104, let's use 100 as a reference. This time we would have plus 6, plus 4. So again, diagonally adding, regardless of which way we go, I'm going to get 110 times 100 is 110,000. Plus 6 times 4 is 24. Adding them together, we'll get 11,024. All right, let's try one more. Let's do 102 times 125. So reference number of 100. So this will be a plus 2 plus 25. Adding diagonally, we should get 127 with 2 zeros. We multiply by the reference. Then we're adding 25 times 2, which is 50. So we should get 12,750. All right, so that's what we will do is if our number is quite close to the reference number. In the next lesson, we will look at dealing with numbers that are a little bit further away from 10 and 100, and is it possible to use a different reference number? So I hope you enjoyed that. Please share it with a friend if you found it useful, and practice and see if you can solve different problems like this mentally. Maybe practice on paper first and see how you go. See you next time.